Welcome to INDY, where we share journeys and ideas for people in their 50s, 60s, and beyond, wanting more meaning, connection, and direction in this stage of life. Today, I'm joined by Rebecca, the CEO of Vistage UK. And Vistage is the world's largest executive coaching and peer advisory organisation with over 45,000 members in 35 countries. Wow. And helping companies grow at twice as fast as the competition. Now, I think this is going to be an interesting conversation for us indies because, sometimes it's really tough. You get to your late 50s, your early 60s, you're looking for something to do, particularly if you've come out of a corporate world, and you've got all that experience and expertise, but don't really know where to use it. And this
Yeah.
is where I think Vistage could be the secret weapon in
Mm.
terms of perhaps you might want to join a group of peers, or maybe you might want to take the step of becoming a chair. So,
Mm.
Rebecca's here today to help us explore how Vistage can open up some fresh possibilities, whether you might join as a member of a group or take the leap to becoming a chair guiding a group of peers. Sorry, that was a lot of words. Rebecca, welcome to Indy.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for making the time this morning. So, shall we get straight in? Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you describe Vistage to someone who'd never heard of it before? What is it?
Well, it's interesting. So I describe Vistage as look, we are the world's largest CEO peer advisory and coaching business.
Yeah.
But what does that actually mean? So I would describe Vistage as a combination of a confidential boardroom,
Right.
a coaching program, and a trusted circle of peers, essentially.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. We exist to help executive leaders make better decisions that drive better outcomes for them, their team, and their wider community.
So, if you were going to sum it up in one sentence, what would you say?
I would say, look, it's lonely at the top,
Yeah.
okay? And so one sentence, you said one sentence. I would say, like I say, we help executive leaders to become better leaders, making better decisions that drive better outcomes in a nutshell.
So, many of our indie members are really experienced professionals, but they're at this kind of crossroads, in their 50s and 60s, wondering what to do. And I'm kind of wondering, do you see this kind of pattern? People saying, well, what next? Maybe the corporate world doesn't want them. Maybe they're struggling to set up a company. They need some help and
Mm.
they're looking for somewhere good to go. Is this something you see?
All the time, Andrew, all the time. So and you know what, I think certainly in the last 5 years as well, I think there's been a real shift with people who've had the most incredible careers.
Hmm.
They've got so much experience and so much wisdom. And there's no shortcut to experience.
No.
You just have to go through and get the battle scars. And we hear it all the time where people now get to a certain age and they're thinking through what to do next. They've probably had a great career in corporate, or perhaps they've, ran their own business, maybe exited their business, and they're not sure what to do next. But they don't want to go and do another corporate gig.
Hmm.
They don't necessarily want to go and build something else on their own, but they're looking for more purpose.
Hmm.
They're looking to give back, and quite frankly, they're not done yet. Which is why I reached out to you in the first place. I thought
Yeah.
it was such an amazing thing that you're doing. So we hear it all the time, and I think for people of that, caliber and where they are in their life, they're also looking for some purpose, and they're looking for how they create legacy in their later years. How do they give back and help other people that are on that journey? And they've got so much value to give. So we've got a place for them.
And why do you think the kind of traditional models out there,
Mm.
perhaps of coming out and becoming coaches or going out and doing consulting are kind of failing, and this is such a good model for indies.
Yeah, I think that coaching is amazing. I've been a lifelong learner myself. I
Mm.
think coaching just unlocks so much magic.
Mm.
And I see a lot of people thinking and going into that sort of coaching world. And that's amazing, but it can be pretty lonely. If you're out there trying to build a coaching practice on your own, it can be tough. It can be tough. And, there's so much more choice out there in the marketplace. There's a lot of people who are also looking to do the same thing. So what we offer is, look, we've been around for 65 years. We've been doing this a long time, proven kind of like methodology, and so many, I mean, literally hundreds of thousands of CEOs and MDs and leaders that we've helped over the years. So we've got a formula. We can help people to not just become great coaches. So to be a chair, you don't have to have a coaching qualification, but you have to have a coaching mindset.
Mm.
So it's not a prerequisite that you're accredited, but definitely that coaching mindset helps. And often these people who've been at that level, have coached people throughout their career. So, often they already have the coaching mindset. But what we offer is a community. So, it's not just you going out and doing it on your own. It's also about, well, actually, you're surrounded by your own peers,
Mm.
actually. So we have an amazing, vibrant community of chairs who all support each other, and they are connected in their purpose and what they're looking to do, which is help other leaders on their journey. So yes, you can absolutely do it on your own. And I think that's amazing. But what we offer is community and
Mm.
all of the things you could possibly imagine, that will support you in that journey. So we have lots of insights and research. We have, featured speakers. We just had Seth Godin, for example. We had Angela Duckworth earlier on this year. We do lots of events. We have an amazing speaker bureau in the UK. So we've got over 130 speakers. These are subject matter experts, that can talk to any topic that a CEO cares about. So we've got the infrastructure and we can support you essentially. So rather than doing it on your own.
So it's really a whole support system for people if they want to go out there, use their expertise, um, set up a group as
Yeah,
if they're a chair or join a group.
yeah.
It's so there's an awful lot there. It's kind of as I would call it, rather disrespectfully, oven ready in terms of
It's a good way to
what,
think about it. Yeah,
what you
it's
can do.
business. It's a business in a box. So,
It's a
so,
bit,
so from a chair perspective,
yeah,
we look for people who want to build their own group, and it's
yeah,
really important to stress that. We don't build the groups for the chairs
yeah,
because the chairs will have a unique relationship with that individual. Everyone's different.
yeah.
So the chairs will curate an amazing group of diverse leaders that they bring together. So, we're looking for people who want to create a group of peers around them, that they can support essentially.
Have you got perhaps a story you could tell us of someone who's done this? Someone
Yeah.
who's set up a group and is doing well.
Yeah, so I mean, so many stories. What has been? I mean, I've been with the business since January, and what has been really, really overwhelming is just how much the chairs love what they do. Every time I talk to a chair, they'll say to me, "This is the best job I've ever had. I
Mhm.
absolutely love what I do, and I wish I'd have found it sooner." So give you an example. So we have an amazing chair based up in Manchester. Her name's Vicky. She ran her own recruitment business for many
Mhm.
years. And she's now running multiple groups. So she's built
Mhm.
multiple groups,
Mhm.
adding so much value to those members through the one-to-one coaching that she
Mhm.
does, but also the magic of bringing together those groups, and having their days, which is the speakers, and then they'll have something called issue processing, which is incredible. But so many stories. We've got chairs who've been managing partners in law firms, or have had a corporate career, and it's completely down to the chair. If they just want to run one group, we've got one of
Mhm.
our best practice chairs, Keith. He's incredible, had an amazing
Mhm.
career. And he's got his passions in life. So he's a classic car nut, and he loves all his
Right.
classic cars. So he's running one group, and it's a brilliant kind of like group that he's brought together. And then we've got other chairs at the other end of the spectrum who might run 3 or 4 groups, for example. So it really depends.
There's always going to be people out there saying, really, because it sounds good to me, a business in a box, something
Yeah.
using expertise. But what would you say to someone who said, you know, do I really need a group like this? Can't I just go out there and do it and make it
Mm.
succeed?
Yeah. Um, People do. Look, there are people out
Yeah.
there who, do want to build those communities around them, and that's great. I think, like I say, what we offer is a community, and we offer the infrastructure.
Mhm.
So it allows the chairs to do what they do best, which is coach these, leaders and
Yeah.
bring together a really amazing dynamic group. If you're doing it on your own, you don't want to be worried about invoicing people and all of that sort of thing, and trying to find speakers and everything.
No, no.
So we've got everything that we can support you with. All you need to do is build your group and run your groups. We take care of everything else.
Did I really hear that? You do the invoicing for the.
we do, we do.
Oh,
We've got an amazing team in the UK who are our back office support.
yeah.
So they run our speaker program.
Right.
They allocate the speakers based on what the chair needs and what the group needs. We do all of the, the back office financing, all the paperwork, everything. The only thing the chair needs to do is
Mm.
find those leaders, curate that group, do the one-to-ones, and run the group meetings on a monthly basis.
Sounds fantastic. So, if people are sort of sitting there and they're being a little bit hesitant, what usually helps someone to sort of take the leap into joining
Mm.
this stage?
Well, it's twofold. So if I start with the chairs, and then we can talk about the members. So like I say, from a chair perspective, they don't want to go and do another corporate gig. They've done that. They've got the t-shirt, and they're thinking about something else. So what normally kind of tips them over is that they've still got lots of passion and energy. And they want to be surrounded by like-minded people who are going to support them, who are going to lift them up, that they can learn as well from those around them. And like I say, I think it's very much that we talk about a lot of heart in this business.
Hmm.
It really is. I mean, the members tell us that it's life-changing being a Vistage member. I think when the chairs hear the opportunity, the member stories, the impact that they can have, and it is about impact. That's what normally, gets them over the line.
Let's drill down a little bit more. Someone's set up a group and they've got going.
Mm.
What are those positive experiences? What is the sort of
Yeah.
what do you get out of it?
What do you get out of it?
Yeah,
Like I say, there's this. It's not just about helping leaders from a professional
yeah,
perspective. Like we talk about, there's this phrase of we treat the whole athlete.
yeah,
And it's not just about business, but it is about them as humans. And
yeah,
actually, there's a lot of kind of like personal things that sometimes come up in those group meetings. And it's a really, really safe space, right? So the way
mm,
that the groups are curated, um, obviously everyone at the same level, so all kind of executives. We're very careful to make sure that there are no competitors in the room.
yeah,
There's no kind of conflict of interest or anything. We create that safe space so people can share, and be really vulnerable and really,
yeah,
really open. And I mean, I've had the privilege to attend a number of these group meetings since I joined, and there's so much magic that happens. Like I said, I spoke to one member up in Yorkshire. He said to me, Rebecca, as long as I am a leader, I will be a Vistage member. He said it's helped me become a better leader, a better husband, a better father, a better friend. And there's just so many countless stories of that transformation. And it's not, like I say, it's not just the business piece. Although, I mean, Dun&
mm,
Bradstreet did a study a few years ago where they looked at Vistage members versus non-Vistage member
right,
companies. And Vistage members grow 2 to 3 times faster than other
hmm,
businesses. So there's the ROI there from okay, this is helping me to grow my business. This is helping
yeah,
me to, make some really great decisions. But it's also, like I say, it's not just the business. It's also about them as a person.
hmm,
And so just so many stories. I'm just trying to think. I mean, there's just countless ones of like I said, people just saying it's life changing, and that is
Yeah.
so rewarding when you work with a CEO or an MD of a business, and they achieve incredible
Mm.
growth. They become a better leader, which means that, I mean, we talk about the ripple effect, Andrew. So
Yeah.
the ripple effect is where, it's not just what the chair does with that particular individual, but it's then what that
Yeah.
leader can do with all of their team, their business, their community. So yeah, and it's weird. I can't think of a better word to use than magic. It's hard to describe. It's
Mhm.
hard to, it can sometimes be a bit intangible, but it just really, it just makes a difference in a really positive way.
So what happens if it's not working for someone?
Mm. Great
Uh,
question. So look, in terms of our members, we've got members here in the UK that have been members for 25 years
yeah.
plus. But
So it obviously
sometimes
does work for some people.
it absolutely
Yeah.
does. It absolutely does. So, but it may be that there's a particular a time or a moment
Mhm.
where they need to focus on other things. I mean, we would always say that actually that's when you need your group the most. But if for whatever reason it isn't working, then we could look at it could be the dynamic of the group. We could look at
Yeah.
a different group for you. Or we can shake hands and part as friends. We often get a lot of our alumni coming back to Vistage
Mm.
as well. So yeah,
Well, it
so
sounds like there's a lot of support there.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Like I say, it is such a supportive community.
So I'm presuming there is an investment to get involved in Vistage.
Yeah,
Can you just
yeah,
talk us through, what sort of investment would someone need to make?
yeah. So do you mean for the chairs or for the members?
Well, shall we do both? Because
Yes, of course.
I think people might be interested in doing either.
Yes, of course, yeah. So from a chair perspective, chairs are essentially entrepreneurs. That's one of
Yeah,
our operating principles. So
yeah,
chairs are entrepreneurs. So they're not employees of Vistage.
yeah,
They essentially will build their own business within the
yeah,
Vistage umbrella. So we put the chairs through a 6-month program.
yeah,
And this is our academy essentially. So we have academy part one, part two, part three, and then
yeah,
there's support throughout that program to get them to launch their group and support them in launching their group. Usually it takes about kind of 6 months
yeah.
essentially to launch your first group. The investment for that is £3,000,
Right.
which is very reasonable.
It
And
sounds reasonable to me.
yeah, we don't make any money on that. It's
Yeah,
just to have some skin in the game, quite
yeah,
frankly.
yeah,
So we put you through the academy process and get you to support you to launch your group essentially. So it's very reasonable.
yeah,
And there may be some other, like I say, you are an entrepreneur as a chair, so there may be some other investments that you might
yeah,
want to make.
yeah,
You might want to have a PA, for example. So some of
yeah,
our chairs will have a PA who'll kind of organise and kind
yeah,
of like help them from an admin perspective. It may be the case that they want to do some events in their local
yeah,
area. Some we can support with, some chairs
yeah,
might need to make some investments. So but really it's that initial kind of 6 months to get them to launch. And that's when, so as soon as the group launches, that's when the revenue starts coming in.
yeah,
So, and I just want to be completely transparent. You do need to have a bit of financial runway to get to
yeah,
that point.
yeah,
So when you launch your group, that's when there's essentially a revenue share model for chairs and Vistage. And then from a member
yeah,
perspective, so members pay, it's just over £1,000 a month.
yeah,
Well, depending on which kind of product you
yeah,
or which kind of like level you come in at. So for our CEOs, which is actually the
mm,
vast majority of what we do is
yeah,
those kind of the people right at the top of the business.
yeah,
It's just over £1,000 a month, and then what you get for that is so much. So you have a one-to-one coaching session every
yeah,
month with your chair,
yeah,
and that's direct one-to-one. You then have a full day where you come together with your peer group.
mm,
And that's where you will have usually a speaker session in the morning. So
yeah,
we've got the most amazing speakers, like I say, on any topic you can imagine. AI,
yeah,
cybersecurity, high performing teams, like anything that
yeah,
you can imagine a CEO cares about. So they have the speaker session in the morning. And then usually what they'll do is this thing called issue processing. So
mm,
every leader has got challenges that they're
mm,
facing. And sometimes they are kind of nuanced, but often most leaders are experiencing some of the same challenges, right? So the beauty of what we do on the issue processing side, and that is facilitated by the chair, usually in the afternoon. They do the issue processing. So a member might bring a particular issue that they're facing, and that will resonate with so many of the of their
Yeah.
peer group. And there's a process that we take them through that the chair facilitates essentially, that really helps them to solve that issue. So they walk away at the end of the day with, I've got a plan, I know what the
Mhm.
issue is, I know what I need to do, and that just helps them then to kind of go in and actually make that happen. But it's not just about the person in the hot seat who's processing their
Yeah.
issue, it's also everyone else in the room learns, and it's a really supportive environment. So they have the full day of programming, and sometimes leaders will say, I don't have time to take a full
Mhm.
day out of the office every month. But actually, what our members tell us is, this is a day for me to work on the business,
Mhm.
not in the business.
Right.
They kind of come out of the business, can see a bird's eye view, gives them clarity. They're supported by their peers, and it means that they can come in and have an even bigger impact in the business and what they're doing. So, lots of members will say to me, actually, that day gives me time back rather than kind of like is a burden on my time. And then outside of all of that, we have all of our events that we host. So we do regional connection events. These are an amazing opportunity to connect with people outside of your groups.
Yeah.
So members obviously want to, network with other business leaders. We have our big flagship event coming up on the 10th of October, which is CEO Connect at the Birmingham Hilton Metropole. We've got some amazing speakers there. So we've got Sarah Davies, we've got Tim Peake, the
Mhm.
astronaut, and then we've got lots of breakout sessions and a big kind of gala dinner in the evening. So we're bringing together 500 of our members together to kind of like connect for that event. So you get you get a lot. But like I say, the ROI is exponential based on what the investment is.
So we have many indie members in Australia, New Zealand, Canada,
Ooh,
the
yeah,
US, um, Far East,
yeah.
and there's opportunity there as well, I guess.
There is absolutely opportunity there as well. So, like I say, we are a global business. So, very much a global business. We have got 45,000 members across the world. We're now actually in 40 countries. So, growing all the time. We have a very thriving business in Australia, in the US. The
Mhm.
US was where we were first we first started. But we are very much a global business. So, actually now we have more members outside of the US than we do in the US, but we've got very good coverage. So if your members are global, they can join as a member, or if they're interested in becoming a chair, yeah, we've got a place for them.
Fantastic. So, kind of wrapping up a little bit, for someone listening right now, what would they gain from joining or becoming a chair? Because I think that's probably the most likely route for an
Yeah,
indie with experience.
yeah. Um, like I say, I think what they're going to get is, they're going to get support. They're going to get that sense of camaraderie, of purpose and meaning. That's what they're going to get, and it's about how they can create a legacy. Using all of the wisdom and experience that they have, to bring together an amazing, amazing group of leaders, and really transform their lives. That's what they're going to get.
Now, I'm just thinking, kind of looking forward. Perhaps you might just share, what's the future for Vistage members and chairs? What's coming up? What's
Yeah.
the exciting bits for you right now as CEO?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm excited. We are growing. We're bringing on new members all the time and new chairs. So I really kind of feel that, I want every CEO in the UK or around the world to know that it doesn't have to be lonely at the top, and
Mhm.
that Vistage is the place for them. So we are continuing to grow as a business, continuing to drive as much value as possible for our members, and support for our chairs running their practices. And it's a really exciting time. We've also just brought out, it's very timely, so we're bringing out one of our new solutions, which is strategic planning by Vistage,
Right.
which really helps these leaders on their strategic planning. We've got amazing speakers coming up. There's just all the time we look to how do we drive more value for this community. So it's exciting times ahead.
Rebecca, thank you very much for sharing your insights and stories. For anyone watching who wants to explore Vistage, perhaps as a member looking for some inspiration or a chair looking to lead a group, I guess the website is the first place to go.
Absolutely, yeah. If you check out kind of vistage.co.uk, there's lots of information on there around becoming a chair. And actually, you can hear there's some great videos on there of our chairs and their journey and how they found it and what they get out of being a chair. And we've got lots and lots of member stories as well, of the impact that Vistage has had on them. So check those out. It's vistage.co.uk, and if you're interested, please get in touch.
Thank you very much for talking today.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Andrew, for the opportunity. And thanks for everything that you do as well, because I think it's an amazing community that you've created. So thank you.
Thanks for listening to another episode of I'm Not Done Yet. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. See you soon for another episode of INDY. And remember, you're not alone in this journey, and you're not done yet.